Hi, and welcome to an introduction to Learn with Nala. So our timetable then for today, I'm going to give quite a high-level overview, first of all, of what is Learn with Nala. I want to talk about the differences between learner accounts and tutor accounts. So you will all have tutor accounts if you're, be it in an ETB or in a Focus Ireland, you'll have a different type of account to a learner, and I'll explain a bit more about that. I'm going to be guiding you through helping learners to create accounts and register for courses, and also how to support them with even getting through the course and monitoring their progress. And if you want to, you can also use Learn with Nala for QQI certification as well. So I'll be talking a little bit today about how to do that. And then I'll just be giving you some quick tips, I suppose, that I've picked up along the way that might help you get started. So what is it? Learn with Nala is basically it's online courses. So it's what we call an e-learning platform, but it's your traditional courses, but they're available on a website on the internet. And we offer courses at 4 different levels that I'll explain a bit more about in a minute. But we're really focusing on level 1 to 3 of the QQI accreditation system. So our level 2 and level 3 courses offer QQI qualifications with them. And I suppose what makes Nala a little bit different from other e-learning platforms is there's quite a lot of support available for learners and tutors. And I'll tell you about what kinds of supports are available later on. But we recognize that because of the nature of our learners, they will need a little bit more support from a literacy perspective and a navigation perspective with a website like this. And then the other thing to mention, which I don't think will be particularly relevant for you guys on the call today, but we ask that our learners are 16 and over. So once they turn 16, they can use the platform and get accreditation. And that's because we're the National Adult Literacy Agency, and our remit is really to support adult education. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to be explaining the 2 different account types using these 2 profiles, which are real profiles that are on the website. So the first account type that I'll be talking about is Paula O'Connor's. So she's a tutor. So she would have an account like yours. And the reason that she would use Learn with Nala is because she wants to keep track of class progress and she wants to support her learners. And then we have another account, Mike Smith, who's a learner in class. And what he wants to do is use it for blended learning. So he might do a little bit in class with Paula. And then when he's at home, he might supplement that learning with Learn with Nala as well. And just to try and make it as clear as possible today, when I'm talking about learners, I'll have Mike's picture on the slide. And when I'm talking about tutors, I'll have Paula's picture on the slide. And that's just because I'll be flip-flopping between the 2 of them. And I think it hopefully will make it a little bit clearer. So then I guess what is a centre? So I have the ETB logo up here because a lot of our centres are ETB affiliated, but not all of them. We have, I think on last count, about 238 centres in Ireland, and all of those centres would have learner accounts like Mike's and tutor accounts like Paula's. And if you have a tutor account, you're automatically enrolled in all of the courses. So you can see everything, you can test everything out before recommending it to your learners. Whereas if you have a learner account, you get a bit of a different view of the website. So you have to sign up for courses. And I'll be talking you through how to do that in a minute. So say Focus Ireland is its own centre. GRETB is its own centre. And then outside of that, we have what we call independent learners. So we have many people using Learn with Nala who may never set foot in an educational institution. They're learning at home, and a lot of the time they lean a little bit more heavily on our support services. So they might end up using our free phone quite a bit just to help with getting through the courses. And that might be relevant for you guys because you might encounter people maybe in your centres who come in and say, oh yeah, I already used that, or I signed up for that, or someone gave me a link to sign up for that. And what's going on, if you have a look, it's probably they might be an independent learner. So in that case, if you encounter that, generally what we'd say is just encourage the person to finish their course. that they're doing as an independent learner, and then you can sign them up through your organization using a learner link. So we'll give you that, or you should have that already, because a lot of you are in really established centers. But then the learner will be kind of hooked into your center and will be doing courses, I suppose, with accreditation going to your centers. And this comes in when you're using things like PLSS, or you have to record statistics for SOLAS. It can be quite important, for especially for ETBs, that person is registered to the correct center. So what I'm going to do now is show you a quick video of what a tutor account looks like, in case you haven't seen it before. So this is the homepage of Paula's account. So you can see there's a little bell that has notifications on it. There's some messaging as well that you can get. And then there's a waffle, which is a course selector button where Paula can click into her courses. So she's in functional maths here. And to get to the lessons, she clicks content. And to get back to functional maths, she can click on the name of the page. And then to get back to her tutor homepage, she can press home. For me, it's very reminiscent of others, kind of like social media websites with notifications and messaging and home icons and things like that. It works a little bit similarly to that, like how you'd expect. But we have another person joining us. I'm just going to admit them to the waiting room. So, okay. Hi, Adele. Adele's probably getting settled in. So what I'm going to do now is talk about helping the learner to get started, getting them set up and registered. Does anyone have any questions about anything so far? Oh, hi, Susan.
I'm up.
We can see you.
Good. I fixed it.
Great, super. Okay. So yeah, if you think of anything, even you can pop it in the chat if it occurs to you either. So helping learners get started. So this is the big takeaway, I think, from today. So there are two steps from helping a learner get started. The first is to get them to fill out an account page, so they follow a learner link. And then the second step is getting them to sign up for courses. So the learner link, what I want to do now is I'm going to show you what that looks like. So one second. So what I want to do is I'm going to see if I can share a real example of this, because I think that is a little bit more helpful to everyone. Okay. You can all see that okay? Great. So I just put in up the top of my search bar here, I've just put in the learner link for South Cork ETB. So it has its own unique learner link, and all of your organizations will have their own unique learner link as well. And if you don't have that yet, you can get in touch with me and I can send it out to you, or get in contact with the center lead in your center. So each center has someone who sort of runs the show a little bit, and they will have that. So this is the learner link. So what you do is, for every learner that you want to get set up, you have to follow this link every single time. So if you want Joe Blogs to get set up, paste this in, make an account. If you want, Mary Byrne to get set up, paste it in, make an account. So you make a username for them, and you choose a password with them. Now, I know other tutors have told me before that they have a bit of a system with this, so they tend to have a kind of a standard password format, like your favorite color and the year or something like that, that it just helps support the learners to remember it, and they'll know roughly what it might be, to support the learners if they forget it in the middle of a class or something like that. And the username can often be a bit similar. They might just have a standard first name, last name, and that's it in our center. But we can, of course, reset passwords, and you can do that on the website on learn.nala.ie when you're going in. But it can just be a little bit time consuming if you're in the middle of a class. So then they need an email address as well. They also need to give an address. This address can be the address of your centre if they prefer not to share their home address. And they need a phone number and also a PPS number. And we ask for the PPS number for QQI. So that's information that QQI needs to award their certificates. And also date of birth as well. And here's something important. Do you see here under Learning Centre, it says South Cork FET Centres, Cork ETB. And when I look at it, I'm trying to click into this here and I can't change it. I can't edit that at all. And that means I'm in my, like if I'm from South Cork, I'm in the correct place because it's going to be set for you. So for NASA, it will say GRETB and she won't be able to edit that. And that's when you know, okay, I'm in the right centre. All of the learners that I'm registering are being registered to my centre. And then once you've done that, you can click Create Account. And I just want to show something else that's a feature of the website that I might not get a chance to show later. Did you see there, when I highlighted that, there's a little speaker icon here and it says listen. And that's for the learners to make it as accessible as possible. This will be all over our website. In the actual courses as well, there's a speaker icon beside all the sentences. And if you click that, it'll play the sentence out loud. And that's just to support the learners with unmet literacy needs. And particularly the Ukrainians told me at the weekend, it's really helpful for pronunciation if you're learning English for the first time, that they can kind of get the way words are supposed to be spoken. Now, I can't do anything about the accent. I think it's an accent, but anyway. So we'll go back to the presentation now. So that's it. That's the first step, the learner link. And I think if you took nothing away from today, that's the thing you should take away. Always set up your learners under the learner link. You have to do that to register them to your centre. Now, the next step then is signing up for courses. So it's kind of the fun bit, I guess. Our level 2 and level 3 courses are QQI affiliated. So that means that the learners get a QQI certificate out of it. And our level 1 and preparing for level 3 courses get a NALA certificate. At the minute, this year's big goal is to get the level 1 courses QQI affiliated. But if any of you have ever gone through that process before, it's quite an arduous task. So it will probably take the year. We might be hopefully looking at that in 2024. And the preparing for level 3 courses are a intermediate course between level 2 and 3, because we got a lot of feedback from learners that it's a big jump. It can be a big jump to go straight from level 2 to level 3. And some centres encourage learners who have done a level 2 to maybe do the preparing for level 3 course over the summer in their own time before starting into level 3 in the next year. I think that's everything on the courses. What I want to do now is just show you what the course sign-up page looks like. So once you've got your learner's account all sorted out, then you can go into our course sign-up page. So you can search for the courses you want if you know what you want. So say, for example, if reading is your main focus, you can filter by reading, the different levels depending on what you want, and either major awards, so the course bundles, or the short courses. And then you just click search once you've got selected. And I'm just showing you here the range of courses. You'll know then on the right if it's a NALA cert or a QQI award. Here we're coming into the level 2 and you can see all those. And I'm just scrolling down here so you can see the breadth of courses. So there are over 50 courses offered, and there's a second page there as well. So there's really all sorts. Most of them are in reading, writing, digital literacy, and maths, but we have other ones in things like employability, managing my finances, and things like that. So once you click register, you'll be brought to that page where it says log in or register. And if you're an existing user, then you would I'll show you now. So if you've already made your account, so your learner will have done that, you just click log in, and I'll just pause that. They entered the username and the password that they've already made with you, so they should have that. And you can see just under the login button there, it says forgot your password. So if they've forgotten the password, they can click that and it'll email them. They click login, and then it says checkout. So it's a bit of a strange phrase. We're looking to change that. But they can click then start your course, and then straight away the learner will be brought to the course that they've just signed up to. So we hope that it's fairly straightforward. They'll also get an email to the email account that they registered with, and it'll also have links on it to start your course. And I know some learners really find this helpful. They go into their emails every single time and click start your course through their emails, and that just helps them remember where it is. So that's it for getting learners started. They should be set up from that point. So I'm going to explain something to you now as tutors and educators and people who are supporting learners with this. I wouldn't necessarily explain this to learners because it's very confusing, but I think it'll be good for you to know a bit about how the website works, just in your efforts to help them. So Learn with Nala is 2 websites. It is both signing up for courses and doing the courses are actually on separate websites, and this can be really confusing for people, understandably. At the moment, we can't have people sign up for courses on the main website. They have to sign up for the courses on learnwithnala.ie. And then once they've signed up for them, they will appear on learn.nala.ie. But they have to go onto that separate website, learnwithnala.ie, to actually sign up. But that's the only time that they will be going for this. So the way I remember it is learnwithnala.ie, the one on the left there, is a little bit like the shop where you buy the courses. You know the way it said checkout there? That's the way I kind of see it. It's like a shop. And learn.nala.ie is where actually all the learning happens, all the courses are, and where they're going to spend about 90% of their time, because they'll be doing mostly just doing the courses there. But it's worth maybe bookmarking both of those. And I know I've sent you this presentation, so hopefully the slide will help you remember, but this can be a bit confusing, and I understand why. You could see when we signed the learner up there for that course, at every opportunity we were saying, start your course now, click here to start, and that will redirect them into the right website. So hopefully it'll be seamless for them and they won't actually notice, but just so you're aware when you're guiding them through this. Okay, then finding your courses. Where are they on the website? So there are 2 places to find your courses. The first is under the waffle icon. So we call this group of 9 squares here the waffle, because it looks like a waffle, I suppose. And it has a big long list of all your courses. And then you can also find them on your home screen as a tutor. So what I'm actually going to do now is show you what Paula's account looks like. So we'll go into learn.nala.ie, and I just want to show you how she would find her courses. So we'll log in as Paula. And first up is the waffle. So she has all her courses here. And you see the way Paula has pinned, there are little pin icons on the right hand side here. And she's pinned computer skills level 2. So she must have learners doing this course, and she must need to go in and out of it quite a lot lately. But you can get all your courses through this list, and you can pin the ones that are important. It'll be the same for learners. They'll have this as well, but they'll have way less courses because they'll only have signed up for a few with you. And then the other way to find your courses is on your tutor homepage here. So you can click into any of these. And I can click down to view all courses. I can also search if it's easier. And you'll notice as well, as you get more familiar with the courses, that they're color coded. So the level 2 courses always have an orange background. The level 3 courses will be pink, and your tutor professional development courses are purple. So we have a color scheme. So that's finding your courses. What I'll do is pop this back. Now, the next stage for you as tutors is monitoring your class's progress. So you do this by going into course admin and clicking class progress. So I'll show you how to do that here and what class progress in a module looks like. So I'm in a tutor account here, and just to point out to you, I didn't earlier, do you see on the right-hand side here, we have our help information, and that's there on all the accounts. So if you have learners using the website, that'll be there for them, and they can pick up the free phone and call my colleagues if they need a bit of support, or that you or them can email as well if you get stuck on any of this, just in case I forgot to say that. Okay, so we're going to be looking at progress for class maths level 3 here. The important thing to know is you go into course admin and then click, you can click class progress or grades. We'll do class progress first. And here are my learners. So these learners are dummy accounts because of GDPR. I can't use real people's information, but that'll be their name. So this is the way it says learner involved test. And if you click on that, you'll get to go into their progress. But you can also hover over their grades like I've done here, and you can see the blue solid lines are a pass. The orange colored are almost there, and the red is that they have been unsuccessful. So I'm going to click on the name there to go in. And this is a drop down here. So I click on that grades received and all the grades will come up. So you can see there's a lot of passes there. The last question there said redo. So I know they need to redo the end test and they need to get question 5.2 right. And then I can go into grades either through course admin. And a lot of tutors prefer this view. It's much more visual with the red and the green. And we'll say go to lesson if the learner has been unsuccessful. So we try to avoid words like fail or things that might have really negative connotations. And here I'm just showing a quick example of exporting all the grade information to Excel. That's something that the website will do for you if you want, or if there's a focus for you on providing assessment information. I know there is in some centres. And now I'm just downloading my Excel spreadsheet with the learners' details and their grades. So that's that there, and I can keep that. So hopefully that makes sense with monitoring progress. It's a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. I think the main thing to remember with monitoring progress is that if you want to know about a certain subject or a certain course, you need to go to that course. So if you want to know about Maths Level 3, like I just did there, I had to click on that course as a tutor. I was in my tutor account and I went to Maths Level 3, and then I navigated into that and looked at the class progress. There is no way that you can view all progress anywhere. You have to go to the specific course that you want to know about. So if I want to know about, writing level 2, I just have to navigate into that course. I think that's the main tip around that, but it does work very well once you do that. So the next bit now is supporting learners for QQI. And I have this picture here of one of our learners called Keith at our student graduation ceremony last September in the Aviva, and he is getting I think it's a level 3 in employability skills. So we had a physical graduation ceremony because a lot of our learners, because it's online, they might not get the opportunity to have a graduation ceremony. So we usually do something like that. If you're ever interested in attending, we usually advertise them. But yeah, so QQI then, I suppose that's one of the main advantages of Learn with NALA, is that it really looks after a lot of QQI for you. So what we ask generally of tutors is that if they want to support learners with the QQI accreditation, that they just check the course descriptor first and check the learning objectives. So you can do that in 2 ways. You can check the tutor guide, which is available to you in your help section on the navigation bar on Learn with NALA. So it's just a PDF manual of how to use the website. So all the course descriptors are there. And then also you probably know this way more than I do, but you can search them on Q search. So you can search any of the QQI modules and it'll come up with the course descriptor. And for us then, we need 2 things done to put a learner forward for QQI. So on the level 2 and level 3 modules that are QQI affiliated, the learner needs to have completed the end test of the module, so the final test at the end of it. And then if that module has portfolio work, they need to submit that or complete it. So a lot of the portfolio work is an online upload within the course, but then also, as you all know, some of the portfolio work could be a phone interview or could be, it can be really varied. So sometimes learners also post portfolio work into us through our free post. And then once that's done, twice a year, our system runs a scan. It's usually May and November. The next submission is 19th of May. And any learner that has fulfilled this criteria just automatically gets put forward for the QQI award. So we have a panel of internal verifiers in NALA then who will go through all of the work. We get a lot of submissions, and they spend quite a long time for a solid couple of weeks period just going through the assessments and grading. And we just ask, because we really get a lot of submissions, just that our tutors check the submissions before they're sent in. We really don't like having to fail people, or even my colleague Joan Butler looks after all of this in NALA, and she always says that tutors should put on their assessor hat with learners before they put in for QQI, that it's a really different role trying to support someone for that. So it's just so you're aware of it. I have a link now on that slide there where Joan gives an hour webinar on how to submit for QQI and everything that's needed. And if you'd ever any questions about it, I'd really recommend that you look at that. It's really informative. The other thing just to highlight is that learners can start adding to the portfolio as soon as they start doing the course. They don't need to wait to do it. They can, as you're doing relevant things in class, they can be tipping away at the portfolio and uploading. Any questions on QQI before I move on? No, okay, great, everyone's okay. All right, so I promised that it would get a little bit complicated, and this is the complicated part. So it's okay if this is confusing, I wouldn't worry about it. I think once you get up and running on the website and more familiar, this will become much clearer. But I just want to explain it today so you have a bit of a grounding in it before you go in. So we have something on the level 2 and 3 courses called What Do I Already Know? And that's an initial assessment or recognition of prior learning. So it is an assessment that learners can do before they start the course, and it checks their prior knowledge of the subject. And we do this because as I'm sure you all know, the adults in your centers have really broad life experiences and sometimes can have really spiky profiles. Like, we're not talking about the way children learn here. Like, some adults could have worked in a certain area, or, you know, could have different experiences of schooling where they actually know a lot about certain aspects of the course, but have gaps in other areas. So we do this so that we can recognize this in the courses. And if they show that they have a strong foundation already in the course, they can fast track themselves through certain parts of the course. So I'll show you a diagram that I made that might explain some of this. So there are 3 ways that they can go through a course. The first way is that if they do the what will already know recognition of prior learning initial assessment, and they get everything right, then the end test will flash up at the bottom of the screen. It'll pop up after all of the courses, so they can just go straight into that. And if they pass the end test, then they've completed the course. And that can be very, very helpful when you have maybe a learner who's not particularly confident and might say, I want to do level 2, but you know that they're able for level 3. Maybe encourage them to do the what do I already know and see just how much they already know. It can be useful for that. The other thing that can happen, which is the middle box here, is that all of the tasks in what do I already know are answered incorrectly. And in that case, they just do all the lessons. They just go through the whole thing. And I know some learners actually just prefer to do the whole thing. They've signed up to do this course and they just want to do it all. And I think we had stats that about 20% of our learners do that. And the other thing then that can happen is that they get a mix. So they have that spiky profile. Some tasks are answered correctly, so they might get maybe task 1, 2, and 3 right, but then say task 4 and task 7 are answered incorrectly. In that case, they only do the lessons for the tasks that they got wrong. So they only need to do lesson 4 and lesson 7. And then once they've just done the bits that correspond to what they didn't know in the what will already know section, then the end test will pop up for them. So I'm going to show you a video of this and I hope it'll make it a little clearer. So this is a video of me doing the self-advocacy what do I already know section. Sorry, just before I go on here, you can see we use a lot of video as well in the course. So this video and this explains everything that's written, and that's just again as another literacy support for learners who might prefer to learn that way. Okay, so I've finished it. It says, congratulations, you finished all the activities in the unit. So then I go back out to my content page and it's gone. There's no more options. Everything is finished in what we already know. So I go to my progress because I'm a learner and I click on grades received, the drop down, and I can see it says pass, pass, pass on the right there. But look, task 1 and task 2, it says go to lesson. So I know that I need to do lesson 1 and lesson 2 because that would correspond to task 1 and task 2, and that's what I got wrong. So I'm starting into lesson 1 here, and I'm going to do lesson 1 and lesson 2, and if I'm right, then the end test should pop up. So I'm not going to make you watch me do all of those lessons because there are a lot of them. So here we are, the end of lesson 2. And I'm going to press the arrow up in the top right to go to the next activity. Congratulations, 17 out of 17 done. I got a badge there. And you can see here, there at the very end is the end test. I just highlighted it there. But look, I've only done lesson 1 and lesson 2. Everything else says 0. So I only needed to do the lessons based on what I didn't get right in what we already know. And then I get the option of doing the end test. So just to recap, the end test will only appear if you get everything correct in what we already know. or if you just do all of the lessons, or the end test will come up if you complete the lessons based on the incorrect tasks from the What You Already Know pre-assessment. Okay, so I think this is a little bit of troubleshooting, but I guess if your learners have any confusion about why the end test hasn't popped up, my colleague Jennifer always says, I hear her when I present this part of it, to ask them to go to My Progress and Grades and click on the drop down arrow there for grades received, and it'll show you if they've stuck to redo or they need to go to the lesson. It'll say it beside that part of the lesson, and you'll know then straight away. If it doesn't say pass, they need to try it again. Okay, so I think we've covered that already. I'm just going to quickly go into some tips. Just for the What You Already Know section, learners need to click check answers to submit their score. So that's something I learned. Also, just the wording around it. We only use the word task when we're talking about the What You Already Know section. So that it'll be called task 1, task 2, task 3. And then the lessons themselves are called lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And then at the very end, the end test modules are all called question 1, question 2, question 3. So if a learner puts up their hand and says, I'm stuck on question 2, you'll know they're in the end test. So it's just a way to help you navigate it. The other thing to mention that can be a source of confusion is that if a learner attempts a question in the end test, it'll have a tick beside it. This website uses ticks to say completed, as in you have visited this lesson, you have been here. It doesn't mean it's right. It just means that page has been visited. But understandably, that can be confusing for learners because the tick is the universal sign for, correct. So as Jennifer would say, tell them to go and check My Progress and Grades, and they'll know if they need to redo anything. I would really encourage you to go to the help section on your navigation bar on your tutor account and have a look at the tutor resources, the tutor guide, and the video help section. The tutor resources has a lot of PDFs and workbooks that would complement a lot of the courses, or just other NALA resources that can be quite helpful. We also are keeping with the times in NALA. We have a YouTube channel and we have a playlist just on getting started on Learn with NALA that covers a lot of what I'm talking about today. And then finally, just for learner help, the learners also have a video help section that can be really, really helpful in supporting them to be independent with using the website. Again, it's part of digital literacy, isn't it, really, that if they have questions that you can guide them on where to look as well for the answers to their questions. So if they click their help section there, they can go into this section, which covers a wide variety of topics and videos that should be able to help them with navigation of the site. And then, like I was saying, we have a free phone number that's available for both tutors and learners. And this is the number here, and they have an email address as well that they can get back to people on. Now, they do get a really high volume of calls. So if you get the voicemail, they will get back to you as soon as they can. And they work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and will make every effort to get back to you if you're in touch. And then for myself, then I provide training. So if you ever have new tutors in your centres, please just send them my way. I much rather do training with people and have them confident using the website than have them emailing, completely confused, trying to do it by themselves. And then the other thing to draw your attention to is we will send you out, if you want resources from NALA, you can click nala.ie/resources order resources, and you don't have to be a center manager or anybody to order those. You can just order a box of workbooks or whatever would support your course yourselves directly through our order form, because like we recognize that not everybody suits e-learning. You know, some learners just prefer to have a physical workbook to go through. Oh, this is just to remind me to ask for feedback. So I'm going to send you that feedback link in the chat at the end. And that is it. So what I'm going to do is stop the recording, and then I'll have some time for questions.